Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome President of Strategy, Alliances, and Marketing for SUSE, Michael Miller.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Nashville and welcome to SUSECON 2019. I tell you, I'm really excited to be here. I love being here at SUSECON every year, to feel the energy together with all of you. And I want to thank you personally for taking the time away from your family and your work to join us here for this special event. Now, it's always great to get our SUSECON community together in person. You know, we interact all year round via social media and all kinds of other ways, but this is our opportunity to actually be here physically together and celebrate. So thank you for being here, coming back together again. And actually, there's more of us here than ever before. We've grown the event about 15% this year, and you've all come from 45 different countries around the world, which is pretty impressive. Yeah, so thanks for coming all that way. And to get here from all those different countries, you've traveled about 3.1 million miles to be here, and that's just one way. So that's pretty impressive. Now, you've got to go another 3.1 million miles to get back home, but let's not worry about that till later in the week. We've got a lot to do in between. Now, this is really a special event, and I know many of you have been at SUSECON before, but also there's a bunch of you that this is your first SUSECON. Raise your hand if this is your first time at SUSECON. Yeah, that's what I thought. Lots of you. Welcome to SUSECON. And this is a unique event in a lot of different ways, from a lot of different angles. One element of that uniqueness is the quality and the depth of the technical content that we bring to you here. Another element of that is the openness and the access to technical experts and business leaders. And then you mix that together with the special SUSECON energy and magic, and you end up with an event that's truly unlike anything else in the industry. And I know many of you go to events around the world like I do, and I think you'll be able to feel that if you haven't already. Now, one of those special ingredients to that SUSECON energy are the great SUSE music videos that we do, like that one that we just saw with the opener, the My Kind of Open Source. And I really like that one. It captures kind of the essence, in a way, of what this week is all about. It's about harnessing that power and energy and innovation that's happening in the open source world, but then applying that in a pragmatic, flexible, open way to your real-world business demands and needs. And that's exactly what we mean by our theme, My Kind of Open Source. So if you haven't noticed already, at SUSE, we're really doubling down on this concept of open. You know, we would like to pose the question, seriously, why would anyone want to be locked into or choose to lock into a one-size-fits-all environment these days? Right? Instead, we should all be looking at ways that we can leverage the inherent flexibility of open source to unlock ourselves and actually drive a digital transformation that suits our unique needs and demands. And I mean that from both a technical point of view and from a business point of view. Because for SUSE, openness is not just about the licensing model that we use for our source code, which is obviously important, but it's also about how we do business, how we engage with you, our customers, and our partners. And that's why you've probably heard us referred to across the industry lately as the open source company. And so you might ask yourself, what does that mean, open source? So hold that thought. In just a few minutes later this morning, I'll be inviting our SUSE CEO, Niels Brockmann, out to the stage, and he and I will talk about that in a lot more detail. But before we go any further, I want to pause here and thank our sponsors who also share this vision of openness with us. So let's start with our cornerstone sponsors, Fujitsu, Microsoft Azure, SAP, oops, going too fast. Let's give SAP some screen time. Our great partner SAP, and TCS. Got a little too excited there. Thank you, sponsors. Now, in addition to those great cornerstone sponsors, I'd also like to thank our platinum sponsors, Cisco, Dell EMC, HPE, Huawei, IBM, Intel, and Lenovo. Thank you all for being sponsors. And not only are these companies sponsors, but they're also great strategic alliance partners for SUSE. And then finally, I'd like to welcome and thank our gold, silver, and exhibitor sponsors, All together, your help really makes this event special. Thank you all. Okay, so here we are in Nashville, great city. Here we are at SUSECON with that great energy, all brought together, bound together in a sense by this concept of openness. And I think that's true whether you're an IT engineer, a developer, maybe you're a business manager, whether you're coming from a SUSE customer or from a SUSE partner. This is exactly the right place to be this week to dive into and get hands-on with a whole range of different technology topics. And to do that with you, we've brought literally dozens of SUSE experts with us, technology experts, as well as business leaders. We have SUSE open source developers here, we have architects here, we have SUSE product managers here, and of course the leadership team. And we're all here to have great conversations and engage with you. We're ready to talk to you about a whole range of topics. We can talk about multi-cloud and hybrid cloud, about IoT and edge computing. We could talk about how to create application delivery with containers and microservices. We could talk about the latest in artificial intelligence and machine learning frameworks. And I could go on and on and on, but what it really boils down to is all the different ways that you can harness the power of open source to drive your specific digital transformation needs. That's why we're all here, really, to engage directly with you. Now, that's a lot of technology to cover in just 3 days, right? So as a result of that, there's tons of content for you to choose from. This year we have more than 170 sessions on the agenda. Now, it can't possibly go to all of those, so we've organized them into about 20 different content categories that'll help you zero in on the things that are of most interest to you. One thing to look out for is that a full third of those sessions are actually delivered by you, our customers and partners, talking about what you're doing out there in the real world, solving your real world problems, using open source technology and SUSE solutions, and creating services and solutions for your customers as well. So those are very special sessions, so be sure to look for those. Now, in addition to all those breakout sessions, we also have more than 25 expert-led demo stations down in our technology showcase. And that's down on the floor right below us. You'll see that later today. And that's where you can stand there right in front of the technology, see how it's working in person, have a great discussion with an expert on whatever level of detail that you want to go into. And then if you really want to get hands-on, there's more than 100 hours of hands-on training, an opportunity for you to put your hands on the keyboard and actually use this technology and experiment with it yourself. And then if you're feeling really ambitious, you can put all that training and that knowledge to work and take more than 8 different certification exams right here on site before you leave. So lots of opportunity for content and learning. All right, now before I get started and we get on with the main event this morning, let me give you just a quick overview of what you can expect to see here in the main tent throughout the rest of the week. So as I mentioned, very shortly, Nils Brockman will be joining me on stage. He'll be sharing some really exciting updates about what's happening at SUSE these days and where we're going. Right after that, I'll be joined by James Staten from Forrester. He's going to talk about the changing role of IT in the industry today. That's going to be a great talk and conversation. And then tomorrow morning, we're going to be right back in here again, same place, and we'll be joined by SUSE's President of Engineering, Product, and Innovation, Dr. Thomas DiGiacomo. I like to call him Dr. T for short. It's a lot easier to say also. So if you see him, feel free to use that. Thomas is going to be here sharing his view on some of the major technology trends in the industry. And we'll also be joined by leaders from SAP and Fujitsu tomorrow morning on stage. Then Thursday, we'll be right back in here again. We'll be joined by Brent Schroeder, SUSE CTO of Americas. And Brent's going to talk about this concept of edge to core to cloud. And it's a really great way of summarizing some of these important technology trends. You don't want to miss that. And then we'll be joined by leaders from TCS and Microsoft Azure to have another great set of conversations. And then to wrap up our main tent itinerary for the week, on Thursday afternoon, we're going to have our world-famous Demopalooza. This is where the SUSE team gets hands-on and super creative to show you our technology, our latest stuff in action in a really fun and interesting way. And I guarantee you, you're not going to want to miss that. All right, so that's the rundown of what you can expect to see right in here over the next coming days. So with that covered, I think we're ready to get this thing started.